All right, back at you with another episode of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast, where we talk all things pro wrestling, primarily WWE, because that's what both of us prefer to watch. But we got a lot on the plate here today. Coming off a really solid Saturday night's main event show. Got some speculation on what's next going into Survivor Series, and let's just dive right in. As always, I'm Ryan Hall, joined by Dominique LaRue. And Dom, as we're taping this on Sunday evening, Saturday night's main event was actually really good. I thought it was
Yeah,
really solid. There was, that some entertaining moments, but also some moments that we need to talk about.
I totally agree. It was by far the best one in recent months. And then it didn't feel like something just to watch on a Saturday night. Um, we literally saw two new champions get crowned. Obviously, one needed to be crowned because Seth Rollins had vacated the title, but
Right.
we definitely got a title change that we've been preaching for the past couple, if not months, we definitely recent weeks.
Yeah.
But to
Yeah.
say that we thought the title was going to get changed the way it did, that would have been an understatement. So
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Well, I think the match that I want to start on first is that women's title match between Jade Cargill and Miss Tiffany Stratton. I know that I've been waiting on seeing that nasty, just killer heel Jade Cargill come out. Now, as we kind of suspected, you know, like about a month ago, when they, after Jade got busted up so bad in that triple threat match, um, I think it was I forget which one of us it was, but we suspected that they could use that to kind of stepping stone into a different kind of story for Jade Cargill. And man, they sure have. She's needed to be just a badass killer heel ever since she came over, in my not so humble opinion.
yeah, I respectfully, I mean, I feel like we both said it. As soon as it happened, obviously it was a gruesome injury, but we said that the reaction to the injury it actually fueled the fans into turning more towards Jade because of the fact that not only did she get injured, but she still performed as best as she possibly could during that match. And obviously, nobody wanted to see Jay win. I mean, Jay, excuse me. No one wanted to see Nia Jax win the belt again. We was tired of Tiffany having the belt, so all signs pointed to Jade getting the belt. And in recent, probably since Crown Jewel, maybe, or whenever they was fighting for the Queen of the Ring. Obviously, we was like, Jade is still kind of green. She's still working through that in ring aspect of it all, but she's getting better and starting to pace herself a little bit more and starting to kind of use the philosophy aspect of the ring's philosophy of it.
Yep.
And once the injury happened, obviously she had to take a few time some time off to heal. But boy, when she came back and obviously you had the stitches or whatever over her eye, but we was talking about it and I was like, okay, now she finna turn heel. Like just the way she came out, you know, she so called save Tiffany. When they was she hold her arm up in the air, I said, oh yeah, she finna turn for sure. And lo and behold, thank God.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it was well needed. It was very well needed, like we said, because like I told you before we got on the show, now this is that jolt of energy. in the women's division on SmackDown that they needed. But with that being said, we preached this numerous times. When you finally give us what we want, don't just give us what we want, you add to it. Bring along other people. Don't just sit there. She has the title. You recycle the same old people. You put the title on Tiffany. That was fine. Not only did you forget who Tiffany was when she came from NXT, then you recycle the same opponents. You give us Nia versus her again. You give us, um, quite frankly, some people that didn't even need to be in the ring with Tiffany because we knew Tiffany wasn't about to lose to them. But then you go
Mhm.
on and play this. Oh, she's undefeated. I mean, that's cool, but look at the opponent she fought to be undefeated. Like, how you supposed to play that aspect of it if she ain't even fought most of the talent on SmackDown? She just fought like five of the same people in four different matches.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like we're talking about in a production meeting. The best way that the top of the card can really act, can really thrive, is not only having an established champion, but also having two or three legitimate challengers to that title. And that's why I think that's why I think the Roman Reigns Cody Rhodes thing from WrestleMania 40 and 39 for that matter was just so compelling because Roman was that established killer champion and Cody was that plucky upstart babyface that is trying to prove himself. That's wrestling storytelling 101. Um, but you can't, champions don't exist in a bubble, is what I'm trying to say. Champions don't exist in a bubble. And they really need to work on getting like a more complete title picture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's okay. So to paint a picture on that, that's just like Naomi, right?
Mhm.
Either brand you put Naomi on with that heel run she was doing, that would have been phenomenal, right? Naomi would have used that money in the bank and cashed in on Tiffy like they should have done. That would have been phenomenal for SmackDown. But then you turn that and flip it, and she used it to win the belt on Raw. You just lost another talent. That really hurt SmackDown, but also like helped Raw. Raw didn't need the help because they already had talent on Raw as far as the women's division. So now you got all the riches going over to the Raw and SmackDown to suffer. But then all of a sudden, Big Jim, did what he did. So now, you know, the title got vacated, but they still got talent over there on Raw to make up for that. So they need to do is, which we've been looking up. Supposedly in the near future, they're supposed to be having a draft, and
Oh, you're
hopefully with that draft, you inject some of the women from Raw and put them on SmackDown, and that only helps Jade. Now you get some more legitimate talent. Now you get more baby faces possibly, or even heels, but mostly baby faces. And to be honest, I think Rhea might need to go to SmackDown. I know she's one of the biggest stars, and Raw is not going to just up and like let her go like that. But they got to do something to help the women's division. We don't know how long uh, Bianca's injury is, like how her finger is holding up, but like you got to inject. Either you inject SmackDown with some NXT talent, more NXT talent, like Lash Legend or whoever else. But
Right.
you can't just give us Jade with the title and then give us three opponents that we see her literally fight every night on SmackDown.
Yeah. Yeah. We so much like I think so much of the booking right now should really be about um like figuring out what's next. You know? Like it should really be about figuring out what's next. Um because yeah, you can go for the moment, you can go for the pop in the moment, but is that one big crowd pop going to take you to a WrestleMania match? You're going to take you to a Survivor Series or SummerSlam match for that matter.
Like I had texted you this, what was it, Friday? Um I was listening to a podcast I like to listen to, streaming things. Um, they
Yep.
cover Stranger Things. I've been listening to them for quite a while, for many years now. Shout out to them, by the way. And I believe Kit is the host, and he pointed out a particular thing, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with, being a writer. But in storytelling, they have two techniques to go on with a character success and new challenges or new storylines going. And the two techniques are yes and, oh, excuse me, yes but or no and. So
Mhm.
you know we finally get Jade winning the title, which is great. So we get yes, okay, but now what?
What do you do
Now
with
what?
it? Yeah. What do
What
you?
do you know what I mean? And like that's the same dynamic that happened with Tiffany, but with that they dropped the ball. They literally dropped the ball on that because not only did you scrape you kind of scrap what she was coming from NXT because she was a heel. I mean, like she was this pompous, like mean girl is type, daddy gets me everything type girl, right?
Hmm.
Like I'm the center of the universe. I'm that bitch in
Right.
a. But then when she comes over, now she's Nia Jax's sidekick, like just being Nia Jax's quote unquote, sidekick friend, whatever. And she grow a pair and turns on Nia. Yay,
Yeah.
she finally gets the title. That's great. But then you make her fight Nia. Obviously we're gonna get the rematch between them two. But then you fight Nia again, and then you move on from Nia and you go to I don't know. I can't even remember. Like her title reign was underwhelming. Where you have
That's
Rhea,
and that's an understatement.
and that's an understatement. That's just putting it lightly, really.
Yeah.
But you have, Io Sky or Rhea Ripley or, you know, Charlotte or Bailey and all these people, like their title reigns are memorable, like or even, not to bring up her name, but people know her as Monet now, but back when she was in WWE, she was Sasha Banks with her title reign.
Right.
She never had a title reign because she can never defend it after she wins it. But the fact of the matter is that was a big storyline. That was something big.
Right.
Tiffany has nothing big. Like the biggest thing is beating Trish Stratus. And like, I mean, that's cool and all, but we knew she was gonna beat Trish Stratus. Trish is retired.
Yeah.
And the mother, like
Right.
she wasn't coming doing like a whole bunch of appearances. She was just showing up because they was in Toronto or they had an event in Toronto. So the the few weeks they were leading up to Toronto, obviously, yeah, we're gonna throw Trish in that.
Trish owns a yoga studio for crying out loud. He's
Yes.
not. He. Yeah. I mean,
I
You know,
you know, and
yeah,
we're not bashing Tiffany at all. We love Tiffany.
of course not. Yeah,
That that character, they did her character wrong, and I
they
hate
did.
the fact they do that. They always do that. They give us what we want, but then they take a lot from it.
All right. Yeah. If I can kind of go back a little bit to kind of paint a little storytelling 101 here. Kind of the whole yes, but no. That's a technique. And it's not just for books or plays. I mean, this is something that Sophocles talked about back in the ancient, days of the ancient Greeks. The idea, the most compelling fictional stories are when you have a character that has a goal, a character that has a a goal in mind. But the story is not him getting that goal. The story is putting obstacles in his way to where you are rooting for him to get that goal. And I kind of feel like that's one thing that this creative team is kind of dropping the ball on is that the goal, most of the times is a title belt or or what have you. But what makes those compelling is how the character, how the wrestler gets through those obstacles. That is why WrestleMania 40, when Cody Rhodes won the championship, that's why that was so compelling to me. Is because, yes, he, quote, finished the story, but he got through the obstacles. He got past the obstacles, but he also had an army of people out to help him get past those obstacles and finally conquering the big boss. And just get back to basics. Just get back to basics. That that's all I ask. Don't try to do too much. Just get back to basics, master the basics, and then you can take whatever and run with it.
Absolutely. That's why we complain about like you have him fight Drew 3, 4 different times, but Drew don't win. Like you literally had Cody fight Drew last Saturday night, and if he
Yeah.
gets disqualified or counted out, he loses the belt. Now, with that being said, I'm not mad that Cody won because of the fact that
Not either.
it kind of planted something. If nobody watched that match, Cody ended up cheating to win that match, quote unquote cheating.
Right.
But I mean, it was smart on his part, but it's very babyface like because now once again it plays into that aspect of like we said the Homelander aspect of it all. Like he sees everything in his point of view, not the reality's point of view. Hey, I saved that kid from that robber. Yeah, but you literally used laser vision and shot his head off. Like you literally killed that guy.
Right.
And all he did was rob the kid. He didn't, put a gun to his head and rob him. He just literally just snatched something out of his hand and he took off. Right? Hey, I
Mm-hmm.
beat Drew McIntyre. Yeah, but you cheated while the ref was down and DDT'd him on the belt. You basically did what Drew was gonna do to you, but you did it in a slicker way, basically. Like you're literally being slick now. You fought Drew on SmackDown, I guess for the title. I can't even be honest with you on if I knew what type of match it was. I didn't even know if it was a title or not, but they were fighting, and then you hit him with the belt and get disqualified. That's not like Cody. Not like the babyface Cody. So if they're going down that route of giving us giving us Roadlander, I'm here for it. But
I am too.
if you're not, and we're going to get another stale title reign, I would rather you change it up and put it on somebody else. I would rather Drew have the title. I mean, Drew is literally the king of social media, being petty. Him and Naomi is going back and forth online, and it's very entertaining. I love it. Like I would rather somebody being entertaining me the way they're entertaining me, the way Drew entertains me. Drew is a more elevated, uh, of the times type of heel. The board at work tweet he did, classic, like classic. Like put him in the Hall of Fame just off of that one move. But now we don't get Cody losing the belt. So no, and okay,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do now? Are we still gonna go on that roller coaster ride of him still being the same old Cody, or are we going to get him turning to the dark side? I mean, he did mention months ago that that offer still stands between him and the final boss. So
Oh, that guy.
that guy, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll be getting that. You know, that when he get to slapping his arm, we'll be getting that
Hmm.
pretty soon. Because not to disrespect his movie that he got out. I didn't see it. I want to see it,
I
but
haven't. Yeah.
I didn't hear too many great numbers being talked about when it comes to that movie. So he gonna need you know, he gonna need a
He
he
may
gonna
need
need
to
a
check.
yeah, he gonna need a little quick check. I mean, he ain't gonna need the money. He ain't like he needs the money, but
Right.
just to,
Right.
you know, watch that that stank, watch that stank off, you know, you might want to get back in the ring one good time. So
I would hope. I would hope. I would hope. Just Leave Travis Scott at home,
my
please.
God, please, I swear to God, like 2026, this not for the love
Yeah.
of God, for both titles. Don't have any celebrity being involved in that storyline. Like, please, I beg of you. That's if I don't get anything else for Christmas or for birthday or whatever the case may be, I want this wish. Do not have any celebrity, rapper, whatever involved in the main storyline in WWE. No Bad Bunny, no Travis Scott, no whatever, no Nicki Minaj, no nothing, no nobody. Just straight whoever has the belt and who's the competitor. That's it. Just go back to the old playing field of when Cody was going for Roman. That was just them two and the bloodline or whatever. Don't add no celebrity. I don't need no YouTuber. I don't need no nothing.
So you're saying that Jelly Roll shouldn't be John Cena's final opponent?
I love Jay LaRue. I love the fact that he wanted to change the whole dynamic of a celebrity getting involved and like getting the win.
No,
I do
absolutely. Yeah.
respect that, but no, no.
Yeah. I was being sarcastic, but
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Jelly, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, Jelly Roll, compelling personal story, turned his life around, got clean, got out of jail, really making a name for himself. But you want to be in WWE, lost 150 pounds or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Um, don't even look at a WWE title.
can
Don't
I say
even sniff it.
I don't want to bring him up. I don't want to. I don't want to even want to. Hopefully, he don't. Oh God, I didn't think about it. My brain hurts. But um, thank God that LP hasn't been involved in anything anytime soon, and I pray to God that he does not be in that battle royal, let alone win the battle royal for John Cena's final opponent, because I would. I mean, which he shouldn't even be in it because he already had a match with John Cena. So
Dom, just stop it.
I'm gonna stop.
Stop
I'm just
talking.
stop.
Stop
That's why
talking.
I just said I said his letters. I left it alone. I'm not even gonna go in any more further into that. We can proceed to go on to the next match, which I'm very disappointed that Dom. I'm slightly disappointed, but not slightly I'm slightly disappointed, but not disappointed because obviously he found a new way to cheat, which is great. But I was hoping he lose that Intercontinental title, but if it's going the way I'm thinking it's going, which I believe is going to be Finn and Dom fighting each other, only if they're doing that, I'm totally fine with it. But if they're not, then my God, like please, Dom has had that belt long enough. No disrespect to Dom, he's by far one of the big stars of 2025. If we come up with a reward ceremony, maybe close to the end of this year of our pod, and just name a couple of people for award, Dom is surely gonna get one of them because
Absolutely.
I mean he's been one of the bright spots of WWE. So, but it's time for the IC title to come off.
Do
Just
you
like it's
think they
time for
take it
me.
off of? Oh, don't even get me started on that. Yeah,
Right,
but
right, right.
yeah. But to your point on Dom, I remember texting you that the finish of that match should have pissed me off, but it didn't
Mm-hmm.
because it was so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go with Finn. I still think John Cena and Dom should do their thing in Survivor Series.
You do?
I do. Let John Cena complete the Triple Crown,
Yeah.
the Grand Slam rather.
Yeah, Grand Slam.
Um, and then I said it a couple weeks ago. You can use that to kind of jumpstart a feud because I would have Rey Mysterio cost his son that championship somehow. And then and then as we spoke about a couple of a few episodes ago, maybe do like a AAA title versus mass championship, or something like that. But set up a a retirement match for Ray at WrestleMania 41, 42 rather.
No, I totally love that idea. I'm still with you on that idea. Yeah. If if John is making an appearance, well, he should make an appearance at Survivor Series. Um, I to be honest, keep getting confused about these appearances because they say three, and then like I'm like, okay, well, when is the third one? Like when is the first one of three going to happen? Is it going to happen at Survivor Series, and then one on the last Raw or whatever, his last Raw, and then going into Saturday night main event or what? But if they do that route, which is it makes total sense. Like
Yeah.
this is John last title he wins. It's the last. I mean, it's the last title he needs to complete a Grand Slam, and then you know Ray, which is crazy because when you think about it, Ray helping John Cena win the IC title when John you literally used the Money in the Bank to take the world title from Ray back in the day. It kind of like it kind of makes Ray the bigger man in that aspect. Like, hey, yeah, you took the belt away from me, but I'm gonna help you win the IC title, and it only adds another carryout to Ray's great legacy. And then the Ray and Dom aspect of it all, that is phenomenal. Like for the AAA title at WrestleMania, not only were we fighting for the AAA title that's on another promotion, but on the grandest stage of them all, we have a title versus career match. And, Dom goes on to be like, I'm the greatest Mysterio of all time. I did something you can never do. I won the title that you never won. And like, I'm gonna do something that nobody else can do and prove that I'm the greatest Mysterio of all time by ending your legacy. I mean, that's writing on the wall. I mean, you
Take that
can't
mask off.
write it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mask versus
Yeah.
mask versus belt. Like, you can't write it no better. You can't. I mean, if they do it that way, then hey, man, whoever we need to talk to at WWE, you need to go on and send us an email. You can send it to my boy Ryan. Just let us know what we need to
Right.
send.
I'll just take it by, world headquarters tomorrow. On my way to work past the train station out here.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would just make too much sense,
Yeah. It'll make too
and
much
that's
sense.
kind of the problem, I think. Uh, but I want to turn, I want to pivot a little bit, and what's going on with our guy Jey Uso? Because if you didn't get a chance to watch that match, Jey Uso did not have a good time Saturday night.
Mm-mm.
There
Mm-mm.
was a moment. There was a moment that it almost looked like Jey Uso kind of sandbagged CM Punk on one spot, and Punk just kicked him in the head, gave him a receipt. Um, Jay's been posting some kind of nasty stuff on social media, and what's going on with our boy?
So, once again, we'd like to reiterate that we are one of the ones that do like Jay. We're not,
Yes.
bashing him at all. We do have our uh critiques about what they're doing with him and his character. But for many weeks and I've numerously said that we're definitely going on the path of Crash Out Jay, but in a sense that we're finna get the more evolved version of Crash Out Jay. Not just slowly just I'm gonna crash out and just cause violence on anybody and everybody, but it's more of the the gun that got yeet on the side of it, and the handle is crash out, and the bullet is Jay, and now he's focusing their energy on certain people. It's not like he's just gonna crash out on everybody. He's just gonna crash out on the ones he needs to crash out on to get what he wants back. Do they automatically just make Jay have a rematch with CM Punk? No, no, because he had that, right? Um, you let CM Punk go on his reign, you know, build up young talent if need be, or maybe we do get the rivalry between CM Punk and LA Knight. But I don't think it's gonna be that easy for LA Knight to get a title shot. I think with the way they're doing it, I would hope the way they're doing it, because I hate the fact that they do LA Knight like that. LA Knight is definitely one of the big stars of the show. Fans are just hungry for him for a world title. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't do his reign as U.S. champ too decent. So with that being said, I don't think you give LA Knight an automatic title match just yet. I think you give us Jay versus LA Knight, the new Jay, the crash out Jay. I think LA Knight goes out, fights whoever that night at Raw and stick it to the fans, basically. Because as my brother put it here, Jay did send a very, very interesting IG post on this story. And it said,
Hmm.
y'all won with a middle finger. And that was focused on those people that hate Jay, that dislikes Jay. And with that being said, he hears the noise. He hears the critique. He hears all that. I mean, obviously he hears what we say too, I'm sure, or what other people may say the same as we do. But in an interesting interview he did recently before Saturday Night's main event, he did say he didn't want to be known as just an entrance. He didn't want to be classified as somebody that is just, as Gunther eloquently put it, a clown or a what do you put him as, Brian? A
I'm blanking on that, but contextually, I definitely know what you're talking about.
contextually, yeah, I think it's still a clown or whatever, but basically a guy that sells shirts, sells WWE product, and not a real performer or wrestler in a sense.
Yeah.
So with this newfound, let's see, back to the bottom of the the bottom. I am very interested to see how they evolve Jay, because at one point we was the highest of highs. Jay won the world title at WrestleMania, and then now
Won the Rumble, won the Royal
won
Rumble.
the Rumble. Yes. So now it's like, you know he's back to square one, um, and he has to find his way back, and the only way to do that is probably do what Roman has told him from the jump: screw everybody, just get it on your own. And what Roman was talking about was screw everybody, not just some random person, your family too.
And
So,
that includes his twin brother too.
yep. I did see something interesting. I don't think I brought this to you, but I saw something interesting online. A couple sources was saying that when Roman comes back, Roman's coming back with two new people outside of Jay and Jimmy. He started his own revamped bloodline. Now, I don't know how
I think
serious or, you know, actual that is, but that would be a nice dynamic, but at the same time, that's just too much. I mean, we still got excuse me, MFT on SmackDown. We got a dysfunctional, broken up bloodline in Usos. And I mean, we literally have nothing going towards Survivor Series. I mean, like absolutely, positively nothing.
and not like the show's in 3 weeks or anything. Four
Yeah, and
weeks.
San Diego, and like that's one of the big cities for not only the Usos and Roman and their family, but Rey Mysterio and Dom and the whole Lucha Libre
Yeah.
community. I mean, we not saying that we y'all need to use them, but that would be great as far as a San Diego area, and y'all are literally going to be in a baseball stadium, so you need to be
Yeah.
selling some tickets.
And those tickets aren't going to be cheap.
Not when TKO is involved, that's for sure.
Nope. Nope. Well, I think the thing I think the thing that comes up for me, just kind of thinking about what they want to do with Jey Uso, is you got to change him up. You've got to change him up because I feel like two things kind of come up for me here. First of all, is that you can't have him be the same guy. You can't have him coming through the crowd, doing the yeet dance, picking up kids, running it back. You can't have him be that same guy, period, full stop. But at the same time, if they do like fully turn him heel, okay?
Mhm.
But at the same time, they need to figure out a way to help to get his nasty streak out because especially if you're going to be doing another program with your brother, okay? Especially if you're going to be doing another program with your brothers, you've got to um like you've got to be able to kind of bring out his nasty side a little bit.
Mhm.
And I feel like the best way to do that would be to have somebody, I'm not going to say speak for him because the guy can talk on the mic, but to have somebody tee him up, set him up. And you had a great suggestion. Maybe he gets back in bed with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, and the way I was talking about it when you and I was discussing it, and I just sent you something on Instagram that's very interesting, which is crazy. Uh, it was apparently we got new AAA mixed tag team champs. Um, Eric, I mean not Eric. What's that guy name? Is it Ethan? Yeah, Ethan Page and Chelsea Green are the AAA tag team champions, mixed tag team champions. Yeah, it blew my mind. That's why I was making that face. I
What?
was like, "What? Lord have mercy!" Like, but okay. So, but to get back on track, um, the reason why I felt like that is because I thought about that big change in Roman when he started his reign of terror, when he became the head of the table, the tribal chief. And one great thing about Paul with Brock was a killer. Brock didn't need to be on the mic. Brock was just come out, let Paul do his thing, and Brock just want to fight. Roman, Roman has a look. Roman had everything as far as like a WWE superstar and basically the main event. The only aspect of his game was the fact that he couldn't cut a promo worth for dirt. Basically, he was the big dog. You know, he wasn't himself. He wasn't authentic. That was one of the things that fans couldn't really stand because obviously we was getting well, not spoon fed, but basically forced down our throats. Pause. But of the big dog. So what happened was a perfect like tag team together. Um, and it was just crazy how it happened at one of the darkest times of our lives, all of us respectfully in the world. But it was a beautiful marriage between Paul and Roman. And then also they let Roman be Roman. They took the shackles off of Roman. They let him just be himself. And when they come out to the ring, Paul does his great setup. Paul is the point guard. He throws the oop by just setting up Roman, talking about Roman, giving him his praise, talking about his opponent in a nice way, but then flipping it like, yeah, you may be this and that, but you're not Roman Reigns. And then Roman comes in and it's like he finishes you off. Roman, like Paul sets up the dinner, the ambiance, and the setting of it all. But then Roman comes in with the dessert and lays you down and just boom. And one of the greatest promos I remember of Roman is when at the height of him being undisputed champion, you know, and Paul comes out and the most vicious, the most ruthless, the most sadistic, you know, uh, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. The greatest of all time, the GOAT, Roman Reigns. And then Roman comes out and he's talking. He's like, I've been on a hiatus. Everybody knows my schedule, blah, blah, blah. But, the reason why I have this schedule is because I'm just that guy. Obviously, you're going to have some smuck come out and talk about my schedule and talk about he can be this and that. He's the face. He's, he carries this company on his back. But that's a lie. I carry this company. The company's on my back. You know, um, most guys claim they're main eventers when I am the main event, and he wasn't lying. I think you had pointed this out, if not on the pod, but I think you pointed it out. Me and you just chatting, like it's a different feel when Roman was champion. When Roman was champion,
Yeah.
you had these guys, these like you said earlier, you had these few couple of contenders coming for the belt, and Roman was that mountain to climb. You had all these obstacles to get through to get to Roman, but even when you got to Roman, it was another level. Like you had to literally bring everything to fight Roman. I mean, yeah, Roman cheated a couple times. That's what the heels do. They cheat. But then there was some matches where Roman didn't even cheat. He was just that guy. And that aspect of it all isn't there anymore. Not with the
Gone.
Codys, not with the
Mm.
Punks, and the same can go with Brock. Brock didn't have to cheat. Brock is just a monster, right?
Right.
You literally had to be not only just 100%, but you literally had to be like 150% to fight Brock Lesnar. And I mean,
I
Brock
mean, it
just
was, yeah,
destroyed like Hall of Famers, John Cena, Randy Orton, Undertaker. Like the list goes on and
Roman.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
Roman
I mean, Brock Lesnar flipped the friggin' ring over on the guy.
flipped the freaking ring. I mean, they literally had they had to bury Brock under stuff just for him to win the no man, last man standing match.
That was an insane match.
That was a classic though. That was a
Yeah.
classic. But like, look at those two pioneers, right? That that justifies what we're basically saying. Like, ain't no big match feel to the title anymore because of the way that they basically have been building the storylines recently. Now, granted, maybe they would have been doing that with Seth if he wouldn't have got hurt. But to be honest, I don't really truly believe that that would have been it.
Yeah, they got to do something. They got to do something because I feel like I feel like Triple H is bit like Achilles' heel when it comes to his booking and that this creative team storytelling. is they go after the big pop
Yeah.
over sustainability. Again, going back to WrestleMania 40, that pop when Cody won that title,
Oh, that was
masterful.
yeah. It was like
The way that Samantha Irvin's voice broke as she was fighting back tears, making that announcement, masterful.
that was 5 years of just great
Exactly.
storytelling. And like I think about it as we talk about it. Like think about Roman having that title. Think about the production they did with him coming out and Samantha giving that beautiful like intro and just the way Roman held that belt around his waist and then the other one on his shoulder or whatever. And then like Paul holding the belts. Like, it was just everything about just the intro to come in, this then third when they talk, uh, Paul is holding the title up in the air and this and that. And then think about when they're backstage, right? Roman is not holding that title. Roman has had it on a display, you know, and I think about things like that, like the aspect of it being a prize, right? Yeah, Seth had it. He have it on the shoulder or whatever, and like, yeah, I'm the world champion. Blah, ha, 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 you laughing or whatever. But like, it was something about the way they would do it with Roman. Like, um, what's a good? Okay, okay. I'm not familiar with it too well, but um, Lord of the Rings, right? With the ring and then like the obstacle he had to go through just to, take the ring and destroy it or whatever.
Right, right.
You flip that on his head with Roman. The obstacle you have to go through, not only just to get to Roman, but then on top of beating Roman just to get that title. That that prized title. Like people can't just sit here and say like Roman didn't make that title what it was because he did. I mean, look at what he did to the Universal title. The Universal title was a joke until Roman got that title. Like he
Yep.
literally made the Universal title the title between the WWE title and the Universal title. The Universal title was the most prized title. And then when he got the WWE title, it became the Undisputed title. So, but now it's like, the Undisputed title is around Cody's waist. And no disrespect to Cody. I mean, Cody's doing what he can for it. But like, I don't even look at that Undisputed title the same like it once was. Like when I saw him,
Doesn't count.
yeah, when I saw him beat Roman and he had it, I was glad. And I was like, the story's over. And yes, Cody's the champ. And then it went from overall joy to like, okay, I'm kind of burnt out now from it. And it's no disrespect to Cody. Once again, no
Of
disrespect.
course not. Of course not. Yeah, I mean, we're not Cody haters. We're not Jay haters here. We're
No, no.
Logan Paul haters. But that's a different
Yeah, that's a
different
different
guy.
episode. But
Right, right. But to your point, I think it really folds back into the chasing the pop
yeah,
because John Cena's heel turn. Remember that? Remember when John Cena was a heel?
I tried to forget it.
That could have been the most compelling thing in wrestling history.
Absolutely.
And I'm not exaggerating here. That could have been the most compelling thing in wrestling history. But they dropped the ball.
And it's
They
been a
dropped it.
It's been a recurring thing this whole entire year with WWE creative team. Because how many times we've said, if you would have done that heel turn right, it would have been great. It would have been the second coming of the bloodline. Not necessarily in this aspect of the bloodline, but a different, more compelling story to go, from what we've already been dealing with 5 years, but like a correlation of just, you know, we wanted John to turn heel. This is John retirement run. Bray Wyatt's long legacy of what he already built, and he's not even here anymore, right?
The prophecy, the Bray Wyatt prophecy, absolutely.
Exactly. What he's literally been telling John when he was, had his feud with John, and then even with the Firefly Funhouse match, if they would have just went back and with that and just played into that, like those months John was gone because he just vanished, that could have been played into why John turned heel. He was basically becoming what Bray was telling him. Like you see him being a lie. You see him talking about hustle, loyalty, and respect, and that's all a lie. You've been living a lie for 20 some years, blah, blah, blah. They could have been played on that. And then you could have literally done something with the Wyatt Six to go on with it, but you choose not to because of the whole TKO aspect of it all, the whatever behind the scenes of like, Fox wanted to be more sportsy and this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. That's why we had to deal with Ronda Rousey for so long. But, and then, dear God, I can't believe I brought her name up. But I mean, she's again on,
I brought up Travis Scott, so I
yeah,
mean,
on
yeah,
social
you're
platforms talking about, this, that, and the third. I don't want to give
just
him no more
shut
information.
up, Rhonda. Just shut
Yeah,
up.
just stop. Just be
Just
retired.
go away. Go be
Yeah.
with your kids. Go be with your husbands. Just go away.
Yeah, just stop talking about pro wrestling because pro wrestling has moved on from you. So let's just keep it that way.
It's like like her bitterness and pettiness about it is almost to Bill Goldberg and Bret Hart levels.
Oh, that's just, yeah. I don't even
Yes.
want to
Well,
give it no more energy than
yeah.
what we
Well,
had with Bill
but
Goldberg.
yeah, exactly. Before we go down that rabbit hole, speaking of Mr. Cena, he announced that there's going to be a 16-man tournament that is going to culminate in John Cena's last match. I'm putting that in air quotes because you know the reason why I'm putting it in air quotes. Um, and he said something that fascinated the hell out of me. And it was a pre-recorded video package, so let's not. I mean, it wasn't an interview or anything, but he said something like maybe even people who don't even work here would be in that tournament. Now, obviously, the internet lost their collective minds.
Yeah.
And for good reason, because there's one guy, in my opinion, that I think it's a crying shame that they're not able to run it back on this final tour, and that's our friend Mr. Edge, or the artist formerly known as Edge, whatever the hell he's being called now. Um, but what do you make of that? I've got some ideas, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, you know me. I be coming out the left field with my ideas. So when he made that announcement, you and I was texting each other, and you point up the aspect of with people, some, it might be NXT superstars, Raw, SmackDown, and people that don't work here, right?
Right.
He, with that aspect of it all, and now that we talk about it beyond our post production, I mean pre-production, sorry, uh, people that don't work here that made me think of TNA, and then obviously to go on with the IWC of their collective minds exploding. Obviously, two names come to mind, but the biggest thing with you and I is like with this retirement match. This retirement match is basically on the same level. If this is his final match, even though my brother over there is like, yeah, right. But if this is truly John Cena's final match, you have to treat this match with the utmost respect. You have to treat this match like a championship match at WrestleMania. This is by far.
Almost on like a sacred kind of level.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because this is, if not the goat, one of the goats. But this is literally the goat's last match. So, in retrospect, if anybody who listened to us, most are pretty much familiar with wrestling, but the ones that are not, when a guy is retiring, 9 times out of 10, the guy that is retiring, he's going to lose. And that's not a bad thing when it comes to a retirement match, because the winner of that match is like passing the baton to this person. Like, we're choosing you to take the win because we believe in you and we believe that you can be another big star, right? In essence, they try to do that with Austin Theory, but it didn't work too well, because at that time, the Austin Theory that got the dub on John Cena at WrestleMania for the US title, it wasn't the Austin Theory that needed to be Austin Theory for that
Right.
particular win. Now, granted, it could be Austin Theory this time around, but I don't think it is. I believe that, well, to go on to the people that quote unquote don't work there, obviously we think Chris Jericho, Adam Copeland, aka Edge, aka Cope, whatever. But they don't need it because, first of all, Edge is a Hall of Famer. Second of all,
Yeah.
Chris Jericho is a future Hall of Famer. So,
Yep.
I mean, the man is literally the first ever undisputed champion. So, but with this particular match and the win that it will generate for this superstar, you will become a household name. You will be the next big thing, as Paul used to say about Brock. You will literally be the next great superstar they envision you to be by getting the win over the GOAT. And two names come to mind, but we're going to go with one that we already discussed, and then I'm going to give you my dark horse.
Right.
Obafemi. This name has been circulating around, the internet for quite a while. He has recently lost the title on NXT, and obviously, you know, I don't think he's been involved in anything else in NXT because they're preparing him to move up to the main roster.
Right.
He's already made his name in NXT. Like, he's one of the biggest superstars in NXT, so it's only right that he moves up to the main roster. Now, what I said to my boy, I said, the way they should do Obafemi is the way they did John Cena. John Cena came out on one random SmackDown when Kurt Angle, one of the greatest performers in the ring, one of the guys that if you wanted to know a talent was ready, you put him in there with Kurt Angle. Because Kurt Angle will work the absolute crap out of you. And when I say that in wrestling terms in WWE, that is uh blow up. He will blow you up, right? That means he will put you to the
Sky high. Yes.
yes, he will put you to the absolutely brink of exhaustion to where you can't go. So when John came out that infamous night, I don't have the date on me, but Kurt Angle said, this goes to anybody in the back who can come out here and show me what ruthless aggression is. You're like, what makes you think you can be in the ring against me, the GOAT, like the man at the time? I mean, Kurt Angle's the GOAT in our eyes and many other fans' eyes. And John came out and he didn't even say no more than two infamous words. And these two infamous words basically, it came out of Vince McMahon's mouth and it revolutionized an era in that particular time. It went from the Attitude Era from, us watching Raw, watching Stone Cold and Rock and all those goats. And then it was basically a transition to the new faces, the new people that are going to carry this brand or, show for 15 plus years or whatever. And those infamous words were ruthless aggression. And it made me think about, we're doing a full circle with John and he's going on his retirement tour and doing a love letter to us as fans. So what if they do Obafemi like this? Obafemi comes out, if he's in the tournament, obviously. He wins the tournament. Obafemi doesn't do an interview at all, right? He don't even say anything. Obviously, John is probably gonna come out. I seen the tournament. I see my opponent. Uh, this guy, he's been tearing it up in NXT. He's a big star. Obafemi. I would like to have Obafemi come out. I like to get face to face before my opponent, before my match, basically.
Right.
Obafemi comes out. Obafemi goes in, and you think he's finna come out and talk, and he just totally beats the holy crap out of Johnson. I'm talking about to the point where you just like, oh my god, like ain't too many people beat Johnson to this point. And then obviously John is one of the greatest on the mic. So leading up to their match, John basically does the carrying as far as talking. I mean, he's done it. He's done it before with The Rock. I mean, The Rock does a couple promos here and there, but he never shows up, right? Because he was doing
Right.
movies and stuff. So John literally had to carry that whole promo going into, the whole year of them going into a WrestleMania match. So he does this for the couple weeks they got left to his match, and then we finally do get Obafemi to talk. Now, this could be the day before the match on SmackDown. This could be a couple of hours before going into the match at Saturday Night Main Event. Hey, Obafemi, we've been trying to talk to you. We've been trying to get some type of you know statement from you. You step into one of the biggest matches of your career, and you would just want to know what's your mindset, what you believe makes you think you can beat the goat, whatever, right? And then Obafemi looks into the camera, and hopefully, our girl Kelly, she does the interview. What I'm saying, outside of our selfish ways of just seeing her on the camera, but she gets Obafemi to talk, and Obafemi only says two words, and the two words are the most infamous words that really started John's career. And Obafemi goes out and says ruthless aggression, and that's it. And then he goes on to beat John. Do you know the absolute like aura that would cause? Your first match on the main roster, and we already know we got film on you from what you've done in NXT, but you go
Yep.
on and get in that ring and beat John Cena to like obviously, I don't want to see John go out like no punk. So I want him to, give Obafemi some fight and this and that. He does all his, greatest hits or whatever in the ring. Hits
Yep.
Obafemi with like three or four, five or even an avalanche adjustment, right?
Right.
Obafemi eats all of them and gets up and totally destroys John after that, right? That would not only build a rocket on his back, but it will blow him into the stratosphere all the way through multiverse, to be honest. Because now you have so much to build off of that. When Gunther comes back, right? Gunther's beats Goldberg. Goldberg, I mean, Goldberg's a goat. Goldberg is, one of the greatest of all time in some people's eyes. Not too many eyes on this show, but
And in Goldberg's eyes.
yeah, in Goldberg's eyes. But he beat Goldberg. Goldberg can go out there. Well, I beat Goldberg. Blah 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 blah. And then Obi Femi comes out and be like, I beat John. That just that kills it. I beat John Cena, 17-time champion. I not only beat John, I retired John Cena. Yeah, you retired Goldberg, but he was way past his prime.
Right.
I beat John Cena, and he's in his prime. He became world champion during his retirement run. Oh, excuse me. And if we do the storyline that, like my brother pointed out, I beat John Cena for the IC title, the title you made great again. Do you know that story? Man, I can't. You know how much they would eat off of just them two, Gunther and Obafemi going at it? That'd be crazy.
I mean, the matches alone, but the mic work, the
Yeah.
just the aura.
Of them two standing in the ring face to face. I just,
Those two just big bruising SOBs just staring. Oh, well, just getting
yeah.
chills thinking about it.
But to throw my last, guess in before we get up for the night. It popped in my brain like you know how it goes, like a lightning bolt. Um, that last point where John was like, some people that don't even work here. And I thought about those two people, but they don't need the match because they're made man. One particular person that I've been a major fan of since his NXT days, and he's been rightfully treated wrong. I didn't think they needed to release him, and then he goes to the AEW, and they ain't really do nothing with him. AEW is Keith Lee.
Yep.
I think with Keith Lee, if they do sign him back and he does beat John, that revamps his career. And we get another like the great Big E likes to say, we get another big meaty man slapping meat back in the ring. You know what I mean? We get another big heavyweight to go against the Bronson Reeds and the Brian Breakers and the Gunthers and the Obafemis and the just the list goes on and on. So
I remember having a conversation with a guy here locally, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer. And we started talking about wrestling. And he was like, I remember, and this was just right around when Keith Lee got signed. It was like, I saw this guy maybe about 7 or 8 years ago at an independent show in Rhode Island, I think it was. Blew his mind clear, just blew his mind. Just how athletic, how smooth, how polished this guy was. This would have been, 10, 12 years ago at this point.
mhm.
And the mere fact that he was never kind of treated like the second coming of Bam Bam Bigelow or Vader or somebody like that is a freaking crime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like
yeah,
I if I can't get Big E back, which I'm pretty sure he's absolutely done for, and I
he's
respect
done.
that. Like
Yeah.
I want Big E to live a long, luxurious life, and I mean he done it all. He he couldn't have a better career than what he had. So if he don't come back, then I wish him well. But if I can't get Big E back, I definitely want them to get Keith Lee back and to do him right.
I'm right. Yeah.
So
Well, just to kind of piggyback on your opinion on that, I feel like Obafemi's the call. I've been wanting Obafemi on the main roster like a year and a half, probably, because he's been ready.
yeah,
I wanted him involved in the New Day storyline. I've been warning, but just to be able to get that kind of blessing to be like, hey, you're going to be the guy the to end John Cena's in-ring career, so we think that's a blessing, but that's also one hell of a responsibility.
yeah. I do have one question that I would like to ask.
Talk to me.
Now, thinking about WWE that we know and the way they like to just pull something out their butt and try to make it work when it don't absolutely make any kind of sense. Give me one wrestler that you feel that they may push. And now I have one in my head, and I mean, I can see, but then I can't see. Like I don't see why he would be in that particular match. I think I'll go ahead and just say it. Trick Williams.
Okay.
Now I don't know, like I wouldn't be against it, but then at the same time, I would like Trick is cool and all, but I don't, I don't see that. He's more of in the Seth Rollins type of tier. Like obviously he's destined to be great, but not great as in like the Romans and the Codys and the that type of tier. If you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Seth. Yeah, completely. Trick is, um, you know, I don't see it happening. Honestly, his old rival Carmelo Hayes would be a great choice for that, but I don't see it happening
Yeah, with
because
him.
guys like, but yeah, because guys like that are like your guys who are kind of committed to those just being great workers. You know what I mean? I don't see them winning, world championship stuff like that on the main roster. But I do see people like that putting on 5-star classics.
I got I got one more just to get it out there in the air and speaking into existence because I've been speaking it for my long time in the group and I've told it a couple times
Manifest it, brother.
and
Manifest.
on
Yeah.
the podcast. Um, Montez Ford.
Yes.
Montez has the look, he has the charisma, he has, I mean, pretty much everything you would want out of a big time talent. And this would not only like really solidify him as, a singles competitor and like really, you need to strap a rocket to his back, but like you can start the the turn like of him leaving Street Profit for sure now. Because I mean like
Yeah.
you can't stay in that box of being a tag team competitor because you just literally beat John Cena. So Montez Ford, if you're listening or anybody that's a fan of Montez Ford, you can tag us and send this to him and just, I just want you to know I'm speaking you up, my brother. Okay.
And also maybe see about when that wife of yours is going to be able to come back.
Yeah, give us an update. Maybe her come
Yeah.
and just, spread it out there on or her her social media. Just give us something. Like, my finger's fine. It's bending okay, just not as well as I would like for it to be. Just something. We worried about her. You know,
A little, a little something, a little something.
a little something. A little hell. If she wanted to shoot a middle finger up, just like, okay, the finger
Yeah,
looks good.
facts. Yeah, facts. All right. Well, next, on our next episode, I think we're gonna have some answers about just what Survivor Series is gonna look like.
Hopefully.
And yeah, hopefully, exactly. And yeah, can't wait to talk about it next week here in the Wrestling Roundtable podcast.
Absolutely. And recent update, we've been, slowly getting some new followers on our Facebook page. I
Mm-hmm.
think we're at what, 53, I believe, something.
Yeah, at last count, yeah.
Yeah. Just keep keep following with us, keep rocking with us. Like we said, we want 100 followers. And once we get 100, we will definitely get everybody's name that are followers, and do a random drawing, and y'all get a autographed T-shirt of the great Mick Foley.
If we can hit 100 followers by the end of 2025, let's make that happen.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we can. We got 2 whole months, people. Come on now.
Yeah. It's just a simple click, like, click follow.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, comment, and subscribe on these podcast episodes. And
Yeah,
y'all
please,
know the
please
drill.
engage. We would like for you not just to follow. We would like for you to actually get involved and give us something. Give us something you want us to cover, talk about. You know, you know, some suggestions, even just anything. But we definitely appreciate it. And I mean, it's an easy task. It's just 100. We're not asking
Yeah,
for 1,000,
right,
10,000. We definitely just want people to join and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell an enemy of a friend who's
right.
related to a cousin that is an enemy of a friend. Everybody.
Yeah. I mean, maybe 1,000 by the end of 2026, but we're
Yeah,
thinking shorter term
yeah.
here. Come on.
We're thinking short term. We setting y'all up for more. So
Exactly. But again, we're giving away that Mick Foley autograph T-shirt. And don't forget, you can always follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Like this video, like this episode, leave comments, share it with a friend, share it with an enemy. We want to get this to grow. We want to get this to thrive. We want to because we have a hell of a lot of fun doing this.
absolutely. And we
Yeah,
wanna continue to expand and get bigger, and we want to do things more for y'all. We just slowly just trying to continue on with what we're doing, and eventually maybe get more content out there. Maybe start a
absolutely.
Patreon and whatnot. So
Absolutely. Well, another fun episode, my friend. Let's do it again next week.
absolutely, I can't wait.
All right, my guy. For Dom, I'm Ryan. You've been watching and listening to the Wrestling Roundtable podcast. Until we eat again, thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Thank you guys.